Good morning, students. Welcome to today's maths class. Today we'll be discussing about addition rule in probability, which is very important for board exam point of view. Okay, students, I request you all to take your maths classwork, max textbook. If you have, you can make a note along with this video. Okay, students, I request all of you to stay focused in studies and everyday practice mathematics and other subjects. Okay, students, even though it's a difficult situation now, please don't lose your focus. Okay, keep on practicing your subjects, and max, it's very important. Every day at least spend 1 or 2 hours to keep yourself engaged and keep in touch with the math subject. Okay, students, here we go now. Addition rule. Okay, in the previous probability video we discussed about the mutually exclusive events and not mutually exclusive events. So when you do a problem, you will understand what is the difference between mutually exclusive events and not mutually exclusive events. Just remember this formula. Okay, if A and B are mutually exclusive events. Okay, what is the meaning of mutually exclusive events? Both the event will not occur at the same time. Okay, we had an example, right friends? The best example is when you toss a coin, right? When you toss a coin, head and tail will not occur at the same time. That is called mutually exclusive events, right? Two events are mutually exclusive even if both the event do not occur simultaneously. Okay, so if you have event A and event B, so event A you have 1 3 5 and event B is 2 4 6. So both of them does not have any common numbers between them, so it is a mutually exclusive event. Okay, students, all right. So don't get puzzled. When you do a problem, you will understand much better. Okay, so if the two events are mutually exclusive, the addition rule. Okay, mutually exclusive events. Okay, the addition rule is P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B. Very important, remember. A union B means you're going to add both the events. Okay, P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B, or you can write it as P of A or B is equal to P of A plus B of B, or stands for addition. Okay, students, so remember this formula. Okay, if A and B are not mutually exclusive events, okay, if A and B are not mutually exclusive events, then okay, the formula is P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. So this P of A intersection B is nothing but you have something in common between the two events. Okay, so another formula the same. Okay, you can write P of A union B as P of A or B. Or means addition. Okay, which is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A and B. This intersection B can be called as and, P of A and B. Okay, students, so have the clarity. Okay, remember the two important formula in addition rule. Okay, if A and B are mutually exclusive events, P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B. If A and B are not mutually exclusive events, P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. remember these two important formulae. Okay, so what is P of A union B? P of A union B is nothing but probability of happening at least one event. Probability of happening at least one event. Okay, and what is P of A intersection B? Probability of happening both events A and B. Okay, so this is how the formula is given. Okay, students, for P of A union B, if the two events are mutually exclusive, P of A plus P of B. If A and B are not mutually exclusive, P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Okay, and then next important formula you have to remember, P of A union B, the whole bar. Whole bar means what? The event is not occurring. The probability of failure is equal to 1 minus P of A union B. Okay, same we discussed, right? In the previous videos we discussed, if you have P of A bar, right? P of A bar or A dash. Okay, we can say P of A bar or A dash is nothing but 1 minus P of A. Am I right, friends? Same thing. If you have P of A union B, the whole bar is 1 minus P of A union B. Okay, we'll discuss the problem, then you will understand. Now take down the important problem. So this kind of problem you can expect in multiple choice. Okay, and if you're thorough with this problems, I will also teach you the shortcut method to solve the addition rule, which will be really helpful for you in the board exam. Okay, students, so take down the question. The question is like this: a die is thrown twice. Okay, find the probability. Here we have to find the probability that the sum of two number is 5 or 7. So it's clearly given or. Or means we have to apply the addition rule. Okay, so there are two events happening. One is event A, okay, that is getting number 5, sum 5. Okay, it's not 5. Okay, you can write it as sum, S-U-M, sum. Sum 5. Okay, students, event A is getting sum 5 and event B is nothing but getting sum 7. Okay, what is A actually? Event of getting sum 5. Event B is getting sum 7. Okay, the question is find the probability that sum of two numbers is 5 or 7. So here what you are going to do is you are going to find what is the probability of A union B. You have to find what is the probability of A union B. That is the given question. We have to find it. Okay. But now we do not know whether both the events are mutually exclusive or not. Okay. So we will find out whether the two events are mutually exclusive events. So if it is a mutually exclusive events, we'll apply the first formula. If it is not mutually exclusive events, we will write the second formula which we discussed. Okay, students. All right. Now first we'll find the probability of A. For that, we all know the formula for probability of A. Probability of A is equal to N of A divided by N of S. Correct? N of A divided by N of S. That is number of favorable outcomes divided by the total possible outcomes. So first we'll write the sample space for event A. Okay, we'll write the sample space. What is the, how we are going to write the sample space? We have to first write the sample space for rolling two dice. Already I have given you in the previous video, right? If two dice are thrown, the total possible outcome will be 36, right? N of S will be 36. All right. This is the sample space. Okay, students. So A is sum of 5. Sum of 5 means, see the first row. In the first row, if you take 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1 will give you 2. Okay, we are not getting there. 2 plus 1 will give you 3. 3 plus 1 will give you 4. 4 plus 1 will give you 5. Yes, this we can take up in the first row, 4 comma 1, right? So the first sample space I can write it as 4 comma 1. Okay, 4 comma 1 comma, then 5 comma 1 we cannot take because 5 comma 1 means 5 plus 1 will give you 6. Similarly 6 plus 1 will give you 7. We will not take that also. Okay students, so we'll move on to the next row. Okay, are you all following? So next row is you have 1 comma 2. 1 plus 2 will give you 3. 2 plus 2 will give you 4. 3 plus 2, yes, it is 5. So in the second row I can take it as 3 comma 2. Okay students, similarly you can say 4 comma 2 will give you 6. 4 plus 2 will give you 6. 5 plus 2 will give you 7. 6 plus 2 will give you 8. So we'll not take that. We'll move on to the next row. 1 comma 3. No, very good. I can hear you. 2 comma 3. Yes, 2 plus 3 will give you 5. So I can take 2 comma 3. Okay, which is 2 plus 3 will give you 5, right? Then others you will not get. 5 plus 3 will give you 8. 6 plus 3 will give you 9. So we will not take that. 1 comma 4. Yes, in the next row you will take 1 comma 4 because 1 plus 4 will give you 5. And what is our favorable outcome? The favorable outcome is 5. Sum should be 5. Alright friends, sum should be 5. 1 comma 4 will take in the fourth row. 2 comma 4 cannot take because 6. 3 plus 4 will give you 7. 4 plus 4 will give you 8. 5 plus 4 is 9. 6 plus 4 will give you 10. We will not take that. See the next row. 1 comma 5. Can we take 1 comma 5? No, 6. You will get 6, right? So 2 comma 5, 7. So everything if you check, all are greater than 4. Okay, 1 comma 6 also, 1 plus 6 will give you 7. So it's not applying the rule. Okay, the favorable outcomes. So only till here we are going to take. Right students, these are the favorable outcomes. Okay, you can cross check once, okay, to make sure whether you have written the correct favorable outcomes. So totally how many favorable outcomes here you have? 1, 2, right? 2, 3 and 4. So your total favorable outcome, that is your N of A is equal to 4. Am I right friends? So your number of favorable outcome is 4. Correct? We will find the probability. So P of A is equal to N of A divided by N of S. We already know N of S, the total possible outcomes when you roll 2 dice, because the question clearly given a die is thrown twice. Okay, so which means the die is thrown twice. The total possible outcome is 36. Okay, so N of S is equal to 36. 36. Okay students, now it's simple. We are just going to substitute. So P of A is equal to N of A divided by N of S. So what is your N of A? We have 4, right? 4 divided by 36. We'll keep it as it is. Okay students, you understood so far? Just go through once how we have done so far. Okay, good. Next, what we will do, we will find the probability of next event. What is the next probability? We have to find the probability of getting sum 7. Okay, this is your event A. Getting sum 5 is your event A and getting sum 7 is event B. So now what we will do, we'll write the sample space for event B. Okay, so for event B, you have to get sum is 7. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to again bring the sample space here. We are going to check. See the first row, 1 comma 1, 1 plus 2 will give you 1, 2, 2 plus 1 will give you 3, 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 1 5, 5 plus 1 6, 6 comma 1. Can we take 6 comma 1? Yes. 6 comma 1 will give you 7, right? Because 6 plus 1 will give you sum. Sum means addition. Okay, multiple means product. Sometimes you might get the question product, which means you have to multiply. Here the question clearly says it's sum of two numbers. So understand the question. Sum of two numbers means when you roll a die, okay, when you add both the die numbers, you should get sum is 7. Okay, that will be your event B. Okay, so 6 comma 1 we can take in the first row. In the second row, can you anyone help me? What could be the next sample point? Yes, it is 5 comma 2. 5 plus 2 will give you 7. Yes, I can hear the answer. Good students. If you know, you can just work out along with me, because some students might know the answer. Okay, 6 plus 2 will give you 8. We cannot take that. 5 plus 2 is 7. Yes, in the second row we'll take 5 plus 2. That is 5 comma 2. In the third row, quickly students, in third row, what will be the sample point to get sum 7? It is 4 comma 3, right? Because 4 plus 3 will give you 7. So the next sample point will be 4 comma 3. Okay, and then 4 comma 3, 5 comma 3 will give you 8. 1 comma 3 is 4. 1 plus 4, sorry, 1 plus 3 is 4. 2 plus 3 will give you 5. You will not get the sum 7. So 4 plus 3, we can take 4 comma 3. Similarly, fourth row, anyone? Fourth row, you can take it as 3 comma 4. Yes, 3 comma 4. And in the next row, you can take 2 comma 5. Corrections, 2 comma 5. And in the next row, it is 1 comma, last row it is 1 comma 6. Correct? You can just have a look. 1 comma 6. Corrections. So we have got the favorable outcome for B. So here totally how many favorable outcomes you have? N of B is equal to total favorable outcomes for event B. Please count and tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You have 6 favorable outcomes. So I'll write it as 6. So what will be our probability of B? P of B is equal to N of B by N of S. Okay. So N of B, the total favorable outcome is 6 divided by your total possible outcome is 36. So 6 by 36. So we got the probability of event A is 4 by 36, and we got the probability of B is 6 by 36. Okay, we got the 2. Now we will see whether it's a mutually exclusive event or not. Okay, so for that we'll take the sample space of A. All right, we'll take the sample space of A, and then we'll take the sample space of B. Okay, compare the two events and tell me whether you have anything common in them. Do you have anything common in event A and event B? 4 comma 1, do you have 4 comma 1 here? No. 3 comma 2? No. 2 comma 3? No. 1 comma 4? No. So both the events are completely don't have anything common. Okay, 6 comma 1, does it have 6 comma 1 in event B? Event A? No. 5 comma 2? No. So none of the events are common between the two, which means it is a mutually exclusive event. Okay, event A and event B are both mutually exclusive events. So now you understood, students, what is the meaning of mutually exclusive events. Okay, if event A and event B does not have anything common between. Okay, now what we will do, we will use this formula. P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B. Okay, so what is P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B. What is P of A union B? Okay, we'll add both the events. Since it is not mutually exclusive events, we will directly add both the probabilities value. Okay, what is your P of A? We got P of A is 4 by 36. So just we'll substitute. So 4 divided by 36 plus, and what is your P of B? We got 6 divided by 36. Okay, since the denominators both are same, we can add up directly. Okay, so 4 plus 6 will give you 10 divided by 36. Am I right? 10 by 36. Again, 10 and 36 both are divisible by 2. 5 2s are 10 divided by 18 2s are 36. Both are divisible by 2. So 5 by 18. So this will be the probability of P of A union B. P of A union B. Okay, this is the answer. You can just have a look. You can pause the video and you can watch it, students. Okay, be thorough with this concept. It's very important for board exam point of view. Okay, you can just have a look. Okay, next we'll discuss one important problem. That is, this problem was asked in one of the board exams. You can take down the question. In a single throw of 2 dice, the probability that neither a doublet nor a total of 10 will appear. Okay, it was asked in multiple choice question. So what is the probability? Here we'll write what is the probability. Okay, what is the probability that neither a doublet nor a total of 10 will appear? So we'll see how we are going to solve. So it's a multiple choice question. Okay, so or means, as I told you, it's an addition, but here they are telling us nor, neither a doublet nor a total of 10. So nor means probability of failure. Okay, we will write as P of A union B the whole bar is equal to 1 minus P of A union B. We'll apply this formula, okay, to find the probability. You can make a note. Okay, so here also there are 2 events happening. Okay, there are 2 events. One is doublet, another is total of 10. Okay, first we'll find the probability of success, and then finally we will find what is probability of not getting a doublet, not getting a total of 10. Okay, understand the question. Each and every question will be totally different. You have to understand the problem. Okay, so probability of A, we know it's N of A by N of S. In order to use the addition rule, in order to find P of A union B, first you should know whether it's a mutually exclusive event or not. Okay, first we'll find P of A. Okay, we'll also see what is P of B, and we'll see whether they have anything in common between them too. Okay, students, here we go. So first we'll write the sample space, okay, for getting doublet. Event A is getting a doublet. Doublet means what? Both the dice will have the same number. That is called doublet. In the first row, can you see 1, 1? 1, 1 is a doublet because it has 1 in first die and 1 in the second die. So it is a doublet. Okay, we'll take that first sample point, 1, 1. Okay, in the second row you have 1, 2, no, 2, 2, yes. 2, 2 is a doublet, 2, 2. And then the third row, 3, 3. And in the fourth row, it is 4, 4. I can hear your answers. Excellent, students. Okay, and then in the fifth row, it's 5, 5. Right, it's 5, 5. And in the sixth row, last row, it's 6, 6. So these are the doublets. Okay, so totally how many possible doublets you are getting here? 1, 2, 3, your 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your favorable outcome is N of A is equal to 6. Corrections? N of A is equal to 6. Favorable outcome. Okay, you can just have a look. N of A is equal to 6. Next, what we will do, we'll find P of A for this. Okay, we'll write the P of A. So what is P of A formula? N of A divided by N of S. Okay, so P of A is equal to N of A divided by N of S. Can we substitute? What is your N of S? N of S is 36. Right? N of S is 36. So total possible outcome is N of S is equal to 36. N of S is equal to 36. Corrections. Now we'll substitute P of A. Your P of A is equal to N of A divided by N of S. Just now we got your N of A is 6. So just we will substitute. So probability of getting a doublet is equal to 6 divided by 36. Because totally you had 6 doublets, right? So 6 by 36. Now we got this. Now we'll write the sample space for event B. So what is the sample space for event B? What we have to find actually, we have to find a total. Total means sum of 10. Sum of 10. Okay. So sum of 10, how we are going to find? We'll see. Sum means when you roll the 2 dice, the total number should be 10. In the first row, will you get 10? 5, 1. 5 plus 1 will give you 6, 6, 1. You will not get it, right, students? So second row also you can check, you will not get. Third row also you can check, you will not get. Come to the fourth row, 6, 4. 5, 4 will not get because 5 plus 4 will give you 9. We need 10. So 6, 4. Okay. So you can cross check. It is 6, 4. And then you have next one will be in the fifth row. Can you check? 5, 5, right? You have 5, 5 because our aim, the favorable outcome is total of 10. Okay. And in the last row, you have 4, 6, right? 4, 6. So I can write this as 4, 6. So totally, how many favorable outcomes you had, students? Totally is N of B is equal to N of B is equal to 3. Correct? N of B is equal to 3. Okay, now we'll find the P of B. What is your P of B? So probability of B is equal to, okay, probability of B is equal to N of B by N of S. So what is N of B here? We got 3 divided by 36. We'll keep it as it is. Okay, so N of B is 3. So P of B is 3 divided by 36. Hope you understood. Okay, now we'll compare event A and event B, and we will see whether we have anything in common between the two. Okay, students. So we'll see whether you have anything in common between the two.
It is not
So this
a
is your
mutually
event B,
exclusive
right? This is
event.
your event
It is
B,
not a mutually
and this is
exclusive
your event
event.
A. 1, 1, do you have anything common? No. 2, 2, no. 3, 3, no. 4, 4, no. 5, 5, yes. You have something common. You have one term common between the two. One event between the two. 5, 5. Can you see? Event A is having 5, 5. Event B is also having 5, 5. Okay, students.
It
So
is not
it is a
a
mutually exclusive event. So what is the
Okay,
formula for
students, it
mutually
is not
exclusive
a
event?
mutually
If
exclusive event.
I apologize, it is not mutually exclusive events. If you have anything in common between the two, it is not a mutually exclusive event. Okay, so the formula we are going to use here is, why it is not mutually exclusive events? Because event A and event B has a common term between them. So it is not a mutually exclusive event. So we will use this formula, P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Okay, so for that we have to find what is P of A intersection B. How many terms we had in common? Only one term we had common. So N of, we'll write N of number of terms. Number of A intersection B, number of A intersection B is equal to you have only one event common. Okay, So now we'll find what is P of A intersection B. What is P of A intersection B? N of A intersection B divided by N of S. Okay, so N of A intersection B is 1 divided by total possible outcome is 36. So your P of A intersection B is equal to 1 by 36. Okay, understood students? You can have a look. Why we had 1 by 36 here? Because event A and event B had one event common between them. So we found P of A intersection B for that. Okay, so N of A intersection B divided by N of S, which is 1 by 36. Okay, now we will substitute in the formula. Okay, your P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. So what is your P of A? We got P of A is P of A is 6 by 36, right? So 6 divided by 36 plus P of B is 3 divided by 36 minus P of A intersection B 1 by 36. 1 divided by 36, right? All are divided by 36. Everything is common, so directly you can add 6 plus 3 will give you 9. 9 minus 1 will give you 8. Corrections. So it is 8 by 36. 8 divided by 36. The problem is not over because we found the probability of success. Okay, we have to find the probability of not getting. Okay, the question is find the probability neither a double nor a total of 10 will appear. Okay, so we have to find P of A union bar. So we'll apply this formula. Okay, students, we will apply this formula P of A union bar. Just give me a moment. Okay, we will apply P of A union B the whole bar. I'll just put the symbol here. P of A union B the whole bar we have to find out. Okay, so P of A union B the whole bar is nothing but 1 minus P of A union B. Okay, so we'll just substitute here, which is equal to 1 minus, okay, what is P of A union B? We got probability of A union B, we got 8 by 36. So 8 divided by 36. So cross multiply because 8 by 36, 36 into 1 will give you 36, 36, right? Or we can cancel this 2. 8 and 36 both are divisible by, corrections, both are divisible by 2. Can I cancel this? Then we will find out the answer. Okay, both are divisible by 2. So I can cancel 8 and I can cancel 36. Both are divisible by 4. I can take 4, right? 2 4s are 8 and 9 4s are 36. So 2 divided by 9, right? 2 4s are 8 and 9 4s are 36. So 2 by 9. So cross multiply, 9 1s are 9. 9 minus 2 will give you 7. So it is 7 divided by 9. This is the probability of getting neither a total of 10 nor a doublet. Okay, you can just go through this. You can pause the video and go through how we have solved this problem. Excuse me. This is the final answer. Okay, students. So hope you understood the addition rule. It's very important topic for exam point of view. So after this, you can take exercise 18F. Okay, you can take exercise 18F and you can do the problem number 1, subdivision 3. Okay, and then you can do problem number 3 and problem number 4. Okay, students, and then you can do the example problems. You can do example problem 32. It's in page number 1842. Okay, and then you can do example 35, which is in the next page. Example 35. All right, you can try example 36 also. All right, you can do example 40. Anyway, I will upload this in PDF file in Really. Okay, what are the topics, what are the problems to be solved? Please solve the problems sincerely and try to be confident in this addition rule. Okay, students, so today we discussed about the addition rule. All right, we discussed what is the meaning of addition rule, and we discussed the formula. Okay, and we also solved two problems. Okay, one is from your textbook, and then another is one of the problem which came in your board exam. Okay, have a good day. Thanks for watching the video. Bye bye.